What's up, YouTube? Pastor Matt here with another quick book review. This one is called A Proverb a Day in Biblical Hebrew, compiled and edited by Jonathan G. Kline. And I need to say at the outset of this video that this book was provided to me for free for my honest and objective review. So thank you very much to Hendrix Publishers for providing this book. Probably the reason they sent this to me for free is that I have already previously reviewed a couple of books by Jonathan Kline related to the biblical languages. Now, I have a theory about Hendrickson right now that they are self-consciously trying to become one of the best publishers for the biblical languages of Greek, Hebrew, and indeed Aramaic. And so they are putting forth these resources, and I've reviewed a number of them on this page. So scan down through my videos for more reviews of a similar nature, particularly those that are entitled Keep Up Your Biblical Hebrew and Greek in 2 minutes a day by the same author, Jonathan G. Kline. Okay, now in full honesty, while I've worked through some of the other books, the Biblical Greek and Biblical Hebrew 2 minutes a day books, I have not worked through this book. However, it doesn't really take a genius to kind of figure out how this book works. It's very similar to the others, and so if you like the other two books, you're definitely going to like this one. Obviously, the theme here is that we are working through the Proverbs in Biblical Hebrew, and so let's go ahead and open this book up. And I do want to read a paragraph from the author, Jonathan Kline, about why he did this. He says, and this is the opening paragraph of the preface, "A proverb a day in Biblical Hebrew has been designed to help you mull over, chew on, and slowly digest one verse from the book of Proverbs on a regular basis, ideally each day, as the book's title suggests. Like the delicious morsels of a gourmet meal, to continue the alimentary analogy and to play on the image found in 18:8 and 26:22, the Proverbs that have been bequeathed to us from ancient Israel are best appreciated and internalized by savoring them slowly and in small quantities." And he's exactly right. If you sit down and you read 7 chapters of Proverbs, man, it is going to fly by you. And the same thing with many other books of the Bible. They're meant to be digested in slow, small, but nevertheless deep, thorough quantities. And so if you are trying to keep your biblical Hebrew sharp that you learned in seminary or Bible college, this book, like the others in the series, is going to help you out immensely. Now, let me get to a couple of the sample pages and we'll have a look at what Kline has done in this particular volume. So here we are. Here's day number 1, and it's labeled January 1. Week 1 doesn't have to be that date, but hey, why not? If you're going to work through them, might as well work through them on a scheduled, regular pace. And it gives you the proverb in Hebrew, as you can see there on the top. And then it gives you some translation suggestions of the nouns and the verbs and a little bit of grammar help. But primarily the translation is up to you. And so you're doing your work in the beautiful white margins of this book. And look at this here. This is shocking. Where's the answer? Okay, well, you know where the answer is. It's in your Bible, Proverbs 19:8. That's where the answer is. However, and I was confused by this at first, but I figured it out after just perusing this a little bit. If you want a suggested translation, it would be perhaps counterintuitive to put it on the same page that you're working from. But what Kline has done is he's put it on the page exactly opposed to it. So here's the answer. "He who attains insight loves himself. He who safeguards understanding obtains virtue." So for each proverb that we're working from, so here's Proverb 14:20 on day 3. Turn one page to the back, and there's the answer, Proverb 14:20, day 3. So that's how you do it. So you're not clued in too immediately by the answer. Sometimes if you have the answer right there on the same page, your brain just kind of slavishly writes in what was suggested to you. So this gives you the chance to go ahead and come up with your own translation first, but then it does not leave you in the dark, and it gives you a very helpful translation on the foregoing page. Okay, so really cool way to do this. I would not suggest this book if you do not have basic Hebrew skills. I think that's going to be obvious. This book is not going to teach you how to translate Hebrew. This book is not going to teach you the elements and rudiments of Hebrew grammar. This book is for those who've already had Hebrew training, and so the audience to this volume will be select. and I think that's intentionally so. So let's have a look at this book just on the outside here. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. This is helpful information, but I'm probably not going to use that ever again, other than to note here a little bit about the author. Jonathan Kline, PhD, Harvard University, serves as senior editor at Hendrickson Publishers and has taught at Harvard as a lecturer on Hebrew Bible. All right, so he's got several other works. So I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side, and I just want to remark what a beautiful little volume this is. Proverb a Day in Biblical Hebrew, hardcover, cloth bound, beautiful design. Now, one knock, and I did say that this was going to be an objective review, and that means I have to critique it a little bit. The one disappointment is that the other books in the series, the 2 Minutes a Day books in Hebrew and Greek, they were bound in the best way to bind books, which is Smythe sewing them, whereas this book, I was a little bit disappointed to see that it had indeed been glued. And you can see that here. If I can get my camera to focus, this is not a sewn binding. What that means to the layperson is whereas a sewn book will practically last forever, a glued binding will eventually get dry and break down. Hendrickson has a little bit of each, and their sewn books are way better by far than their glued books. But this one will last you a whole generation, I'm sure. It'll last a good 10 to 20 years, and then eventually it will fall apart, like many glued books do. But nevertheless, if you have it for that long, you've probably already worked through it at least once or twice, or else started and stopped, and hopefully you'll do the former rather than the latter. All right, so that's it for today. What I'm going to do, as always, is post a link to Amazon in the description of this video where you can go and grab this volume for yourself and keep up your biblical Hebrew in one proverb a day. Thanks. Check you later.